All right. Yeah, Adekunle Philip, can you go ahead and speak?
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to talk about the cyber threat. What I just know about the cyber threat is just be like is a potential occurrence that even could compromise the security and in the integrity and availability of the organization digital assets, data or system. Although I was not in class, but I still know little about the cyber threats. And cyber
Okay.
threat can come from the various sources, including hackers, malware, phishing attacks, and other types of the cyber attacks.
All right. Thank you very much. That was very great. Even though you are not in class, you are still able to give us the right definition of cyber threats. Anything that can cause a potential uh, harm to any system is what we call threat. And though you are not in class, I would like you to go through the video on YouTube so that you'll be able to gain one or two things that were taught in the class. Yes, the next person, let's see. We have Oluwatosin. Yes, Oluwatosin Adesoji, can you go ahead and speak? Oluwatosin Adesoji, please, can you unmute your mic and speak?
Can we hear me?
Okay, yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah. Last week we discussed about um we talk about attackers. We talk about hackers as well,
What
and
what of which
pertaining to
of the question do you want to answer? We have three questions, one has been answered.
okay, okay. I want to talk about phishing.
Okay, yes, fishing. Go ahead.
Yes. Phishing involves the tricking of users to reveal their sensitive information through fake emails and websites. And we have four types of phishing that were mentioned last week, where we have email phishing, we have spear phishing, we have SMLs, we have voice call, and we have voice call as well. And under the email phishing, where we have there are some errors that do occur, such as typographical error, where we were able to discover and know where the email is coming from, such as typographical error, threatening language, and urgent calling, and also unsolicited email. So that's one of the things we discussed last week, sir.
All right, thank you very
Thank
much.
you, sir.
Yes, phishing, we have under the types of phishing, we have email phishing, we have smishing, which is phishing by SMS, we have phishing, which is phishing by voice call, then we have spear phishing, which is phishing, a targeted phishing attack. We also have whale phishing. I can't remember if we mentioned that in the class, but we also have whale phishing. So there are various kind of attacks that are connected to phishing. All right, so we have one more question left. What is vulnerability? Yes, Oluwani Shola, please, can you speak?
Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
Okay, so a vulnerability is a weakness in a system, network, or software that can be exploited by an attacker to gain unauthorized access into the system.
Oh, thank you very much. That was a brilliant one. So a vulnerability is a weakness that can be exploited. It's a loophole that can be exploited. A weakness or a loophole that can be exploited. That is a vulnerability. Thank you very much. The three questions have been answered, but we still have somebody's hand up. Yeah, Gabriel, you can speak. Hello, Gabriel, please. Can you speak? Your hand is raised. All right. So I guess Gabriel's hand was raised unknowingly. So today we'll be moving on to. I'll be sharing my screen now. We'll be moving on to the next phase of our bootcamp, and that is network security. Of course, you know that I told you that we are not really going in depth because this is just a month course, and we only have 4 hours every week. So if you are going to be learning cybersecurity as a career per se now, you may have to enroll for our master class, our training that is coming up, and it's important that you uh, it's important that you uh, go in for that training. It's very important. So don't finish this boot camp and believe you're a professional, please, so that you won't cause catastrophe out there. Don't finish this boot camp and believe you're a professional. You are not yet a professional. You are still a beginner, of course, because you know you have not gained a whole lot of things. There are a lot of things that yet you have not yet gained. So I'll be sharing my screen now as we proceed with today's class. And of course, according to the way we've been doing it, what we start with every day is an icebreaker. So here's the icebreaker for today. I am tall when I'm young and short when I'm old. What am I? All right, yes, Gabriel, you can speak.
Can do, sir.
Can do. Okay. Gabriel said can do. Yes. Do we have any other person that want to support that or want to give a contrary answer? Okay, yes, Oluwatosin, can you
Okay, yes,
speak?
Oluwatosin, can you speak?
It it is can.
It is can.
Oh, you support can do too.
Oh, you support Kandu too.
Yes,
All right,
I
so let's
support.
have one more
Yes,
All
person.
yes,
right, so
sir.
You
let's
want
have
to
one more
support
person.
or you
You
want to
want to
give
support?
another answer? Yes, one more person. Any other person to support the answer or to give another contrary um, answer? Okay, so we have Oluwaseyi. Oluwaseyi, can you speak, please?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I feel like it can do, can
Okay,
do. Yeah.
can do. All right, so let's reveal our answer. Yes, so you can all clap for yourself. The answer is a can do, a can do. All right, and with that, we open today's class. Yeah. All right, so introduction to network security. Of course, before we go into network security, like I always tell us that as a security professional, nobody expects you to know everything that has to do with technology. Nobody expects you to know everything that has to do with the digital space. But what you are expected to know is the security of everything in the digital space. So one of the major things that you will learn, one of the major things that you are going to be securing as a security expert is network. So let's start from here. What is a network? Yes, anybody please. What is a network? All right, Akanyoko Yemi, you can speak.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. A network can be defined as the interconnection of devices with the sole aim of sharing resources.
Okay. A network can be defined as the interconnection of devices with the sole aim of sharing resources. That's a great one. Yes, any other person? Okay, so let's have Ojebisi Michael. Yes, what is a network? Ojebisi Michael, your mic is mute if you are speaking. All right, so let's move ahead to another person. Let's have Oluwatosin. Yes, Oluwatosin, you can speak. Oluwatosin, if you are speaking, your mic is on mute.
Okay. Network security simply means the process of protecting your computer system
You are
or your
defining
data.
network. You are defining network. What is network?
Okay. Okay. Network is intercommunication between one or two people or a group of people, sir.
Okay. Well, while that may be an a general knowledge of network, but pertaining to computer science or cybersecurity as an industry, the definition of network you just gave will not be applicable because it's not a connection between people. Network in cybersecurity or in computer generally is an interconnection of devices. Interconnection of devices with the sole aim of sharing resources or data. So a network is a system of interconnected devices, computers, or entities that communicate and share resources, data, or services with each other. Now we are defining network because before you can secure a thing, you must have an understanding of that thing. So that is why we are defining network, and network has various types. But for the purpose of cybersecurity, we have two major types of network. Number one, we have the local area network, which is LAN, and the wide area network, which is the WAN. All right. And we also have the internet. Internet is a kind of network. The full meaning of internet is international network. So it's a publicly available network that everybody can access and use at will. So when we are talking of network, internet is also a kind of network. But for the purpose of this class, we are going to be looking at the LAN and the WAN. We are going to be looking at the LAN and the WAN. Now that we have the understanding of what a network is, so a network is just simply bringing a device and another device, connecting them together so that they can share resources. For example, in your household, you have your computer system, you have your phone, maybe you have your tablet, and the three of them are connected to your hotspot. That is a network. Maybe in your office, you have a desktop, you have a laptop, and then you have a printer, and they are connected so that anytime you want to print from your printer, from your desktop, you can send the file to the printer and it will print. Anytime you want to print from your laptop, you send the file to the printer and it will print. That is an example of a network. But as basic as that is, network can be more complicated than that. And I would like to state this to you that if you are going to thrive in cybersecurity, understanding your network, networking is one of the greatest things you need to know. In fact, I can tell you categorically that if you are going to thrive technically in cybersecurity, if you don't know network, you don't know anything. Because most of the things you are going to be defending are going to be your devices that are working hand in hand and sharing resources. Most organizations, almost every organization uses a network. Even in your home, you use a network. In your churches, in your mosque, in your shrine, everywhere you use as long as you are having a gadget there, you have a kind of network. Some sort of network is existing there. So you must understand how network works and what are the things that are needed for that network to be protected. So just like I stated that network can be very, very basic. Do you understand that now? Network can be very, very basic, and as basic as just your computer, your desktop, and your printer. That forms a network. Or maybe your computer, your tablet, and your smart TV. That forms a network. But it can get bigger than that. That in a network you can begin to have stuffs like a router. You can begin to have stuff like a modem. You can begin to have stuff like a switch, a hub, and a firewall, a whole lot of things that you can begin to have in a network. So when you begin to have complicated or more complex resources on a network, you will need to understand the nitty-gritty of how a network works. So there are many resources or many devices that you can find on a network. Now that we understand what a network is, and you know that how a network setup is, how is network secured, or what is network security? From the word network and security, you will discover that network security is what we put in place to secure a network, so that what we put in place, the measures we put in place to make sure that the interconnection of all our devices and the process of sharing data is secured and protected. That is network security, and that's the purpose of this class. So let's look at the key concepts in network security. The key concept in network security. What are the various things that we can find in a network security? The main components that can be found in a network or in network security include the firewalls, the VPNs, and intrusion detection systems. Now, these are concepts in network security. But when we are talking of resources or concepts in a network itself, don't mix the two. We have network security, we have network. Both of them work hand in hand. Network security has to do with securing the network, but you must know what a network is on its own. So when we are talking of a network, there are a whole lot of resources that can be found on a network. For example, you can find your devices, your laptop, you can find your desktop, you can find your smartwatch, you can find your smart TV, you can find your router, you can find your modem, you can find your switch, your hub, you can find your cables. These are the various things you find on a network. But we will not be able to go deep into it, because if we begin to look at network on its own, we won't be able to touch network security at all. So that was why I just paraphrased it. If you really want to learn more about it, then we can meet in the extensive training now. But talking of network security main components include firewalls, VPNs, and intrusion detection systems. So I'm going to be displaying certain images for you now, so that you will understand what I am saying, because I want to define some of these concepts. I'll just define them briefly for you. So the first concept I want to define is a, a router. All right, so who can give us the definition of a router? What is a router? What is a router? Okay, yes, Gabriel, you can speak.
A router simply means a networking device that connects multiple networks.
Okay, a router is a networking device that connects multiple network. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yes, so we have the definition of a router. Then let's have what is a switch? A switch. Anybody? Okay, yes, we have Gabriel, but let's see if we have another person, because he just answered the last question. A switch. Okay, yes. So let's see. Oluwaseyi, yes, Oluwaseyi, you can unmute your mic and speak. What is a switch?
Okay, so a switch is a networking device that connects multiple devices to create a network.
Yes, yes. A networking device that connects multiple devices within a network. But there's something peculiar about a switch that I would like you to state. Okay, what is a hub? Yes, anybody? What's a hub? Yes, Oluwanishola, you can speak.
Okay, so a hub is also this also has the same definition about it also allow multiple connection within a network. But in this scenario, a hub is not brilliant. It can actually distribute the same message. Of course, even the person that is not supposed to receive a particular message will definitely get it. But advanced way, switch is more intelligent. And then if four computers are on a network, um, a switch will then say, "Oh, this is the person that received that request for this. Okay, I'm sending it directly to this person." So that's just the difference between a hub and a switch.
All right, thank you very much. That is what I actually want to bring out. That's the difference between a switch and a hub. Now I'm going to be displaying, I'll be sharing my screen now, and so that you can see. Okay, so please let me know when you can see my screen.
You can see it, sir.
Okay, you can see it now. All right, thank you. Uh, so what you are looking at now currently is uh, a moment, please. Okay, yes. So what you are seeing here is what we call a switch. Are we together now? So this is a switch. This is a switch. Now, one thing peculiar about a switch. Now, many people will not know. Okay, let me show us something real quick. Yes. Now, this is an example of a network. In a network, you have your various devices. You have this device, you have this device. This is a laptop. You have your CPU here. You have another device here. You have another one here. Your so CPU here. You have another computer. I mean, your desktop here. You have a laptop here, and many other devices. But one thing about this network is that you can see that they are all connected. Now, this is a wireless network. So that is why you are not seeing the cables. This is a wireless network. So one thing about network is that it contains a whole lot of devices. But these devices, something must be distributing resources to them. So like what we have here now, look at this particular device. This particular one. Yes. Now, this is a switch. What is the difference between a switch and a hub? Now, if you are connecting in a network now, either a LAN or a WAN, you are connecting between a particular device. You are sending data from a particular device to another device. Let's say device A to device B, device A to device B. Now, one thing about this uh, kind of sharing is that the kind of network resource or network device you are using will determine how that resource will be shared. For example, if you are using a switch in a network that has device A, B, C, D, E, F, you have devices A, B, C, D, E, F, and you are using a switch. When you send data from device A and where you want that data to go, or the device that requested for that data is device B, the switch will only send that data to device B. That was what Oluwanishala was pointing out, that a switch is more intelligent. So it will only send the data or the resource to the right channel or to the right destination. But you see a hub, both of them work the same way. The only difference is that a hub will distribute to everybody. So every device on the network will have access to the data you are sending. So if you are sending a data from device A to device B, when you are using a hub, it will send to device B, and device C, D, E, F will be able to access that data. So as a security professional, you already understand that using switch is more preferable than a hub. Although there are instances where hub has its own advantage too, but we are going to talk about that maybe later. Hub has its own advantage too. The reason for that general distribution, there's a reason why it was made that way. But what we are looking at is that a switch is more intelligent. A switch knows where to send the resource or the data to precisely. So this is an example of a switch. You can see that it has many ports. It has many ports. All right. Now let's look at this. So let me ask us, who can tell us what device is this? Yes. Does anybody want to try? Yes, I can hear me. You can speak.
I think it's a router.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Let's
sir.
see. Do we have another person that want to try? Let's see. We'll check. Do we have another person that want to try? All right. So now, if you call this, okay, I'm still with you. If you call this a router, so what is this?
Yes, sir. It's also a router.
This is also a router. All right.
Yes, but I
Okay.
can't see the screen again.
I'm actually going somewhere. So if this is a router and this is also a router, what is this? Yes, anybody can try to. Anybody can come in. Hello, class. Do we have anybody that wants to try? I mean, there's no crime in trying. Yes, Gabriel.
So I think this is a hub local area network.
Okay, this is a hub, a local area network. Which one? Is it a hub or a local area network?
A hub
This is a hub. Okay, so what is this?
switch.
No, we already said it's a switch. So what is this? All right. Now, this
That's one.
okay. Someone is speaking. Unwamara, do you want to talk?
I think this one is local area network, while the other one is wide area network.
Okay, I think we are mixing these things up. All right, so let me explain. Local area network is a type of network. And don't forget that the definition of a network is that it is the interconnection of devices. The difference between local area network and wide area network is that local area network, from the name local area, is a kind of network that is used in a small area, like your office, like your home, like an organization that has just limited number of offices. Local area. So any kind of network that you use in that kind of in places or in setups like that is what we call local area network. But when you talk of wide area network has to do with a kind of network that is used in organizations that are existing in cities, in more than one location. From the name wide area, one is local area, the other is wide area. So you understand, those are the two types of network we are going to be looking at. We have the metropolitan area network. We have a whole lot of types of network actually, but for the purpose of this course and for cybersecurity generally, we usually look at LAN and WAN. Now, after establishing that, we are now looking at the components of a network. The component of a network, the things you can find in a network. Part of them are your devices, your laptop, your desktop, your smart TV, your printer. Those ones are common. But we are looking at the network devices that are not common. I mean, that you only find in a setup, in a network. So we already gave definition of a switch, that a switch distributes data and resources to a particular receiver in a network. It connect one device to the other. And a hub also do the same thing, but it can distribute to many many devices at the same time. That's a hub. Then a router connects one network to the other network. So router and hub is connection between devices in one network, while router is connection between one network and the other network. Do you understand it now? All right. So we are looking at, I want you to be able to recognize them, is why I'm displaying these images for you. So this is a switch. We have explained that. This right here is a router. This is what we call a router. And you can see that it has limited ports. So this is a router. So you connect one, and you pick the you connect one and you pick the other. You connect the other to it. You have your router. Then this is a hub. So this particular one connects one network to the other network. Don't forget that. It connects one network to the other network. This connects devices in a network. This is a hub. You can see that it looks like the switch. The only difference is that this switch has more ports. And the reason why switch has more ports is that it only connects one device to the other. One device, so it is one to one. Like this one now can be one to many. That's why it has limited number of ports. So this is a hub. This is a router connecting two networks, and this is a switch. Then the third one that I showed, this is a modem. Now I know many of us are not familiar with this, but in a standard organization, this is the kind of modem they use, not those yellow ones, you know. So this is a modem. Do you understand? Okay, do you understand that now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So this is a modem. And modem, what is a modem? A modem is a device that connects a network to the internet. A modem is a device that connects a network to the internet. You will see all these antennas. Yes, so it's used to connect to the internet. So a modem is what is used to connect the network to the internet. So this is a modem. Yes, somebody want to speak. Um, let's see. I think somebody's hand is raised. All right. So I guess the person already pulled down the hand. All right. So I believe you all understand where we are now. So this is a modem. You may be familiar with those Airtel, MTN. Those are small, small ones. In an organization, this is the kind of modem that is used. This is a modem. This here is a hub. This is a router, and this is a switch. Do we understand that now? All right. So let's quickly go back to our class, because I just did a brief introduction to network. All right. So looking at main component, include the main component of network security include firewalls, VPN, and intrusion. I would still like to share an image with us. I want to show you how a firewall works. A firewall, because I know many of us are not familiar with what a firewall is. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so what you have on your screen now is, now this is not a firewall, is not an hardware resource. Are you with me now? A firewall is not an hardware resource, it's a software. But we are looking at how it functions. How it functions. So a firewall, from the word fire and wall, is a wall of partition that filters and monitor every traffic that comes out and go into a network. A firewall is a security resource or security device or security tool that filters. The first assignment of a firewall is to filter. It filters. Now look at the image on your screen. You can see this particular one. Can you see my cursor? Are you guys seeing my cursor, please?
Yes, sir. We
Yes.
can see, sir.
All right. Now look at what I am currently pointing to. You can see that it's a symbol of danger. That is an attacker. You can see that all these ones, they look like viruses. These things, they look like coronavirus. So you have your devices here. You have your devices here. Then you have encrypted file. This is an encrypted file locked. This is a worm. We have an email. We have, I mean, a whole lot of files, a whole lot of data will be coming into the network. But before they make their way into that network, the firewall will filter them, and it will actually monitor to see which one to accept in and which one not to accept in. So a firewall is a security tool that filters and monitors the traffic that comes in and goes out of a network. Why is it working that way? Now, network work with traffics. Every network works with traffic. So when you are, for example, now, if you pick your system and you go online and you download, you just type download so and so. You see the process of downloading that thing. Immediately you click download, a traffic is already coming into your network. A traffic is already coming in. So when you have a firewall, that firewall will filter. Your firewall is like your antivirus. Those of you that have strong antivirus on your phone, you know that there are antivirus that when you try to install something, it will flag it. It will tell you that this thing you are trying to install is not correct. It's not safe. So your firewall is like that antivirus. It is not an antivirus, but it's like it works like that antivirus in a network now. So it's a means of protecting your network from alien resources, from alien data, from things that are not permitted in the resource, in the network. So if your network, for example, now, if your network is if you are trying, if somebody is trying to download something from another device, and you know that network is interconnection of devices. So a device may be in the marketing department, a device may be in the HR department, another device in the MD department, I mean the MD's office, another device in the front desk. Now all these devices are connected to one network. Then maybe one device is also in the chairman's office, and the chairman is just trying to download one funny thing. You know, chairman is not aware of anything. He doesn't know what cybersecurity is, just downloading anything. And that chairman is currently connected to your network. That way, if there is no firewall, that simple download can put the whole network at risk, because a damage to one can cause damage to all. But when there is firewall will be able to bounce. What it does is it works like a bouncer at the clubhouse or in an event. It works like a bouncer. That, in fact, it's a wall. If you have been to top cities, or if you have read books or seen movies that talk about the Great Babylon or Kano. Kano also has a wall. These are cities that has walls. So this firewall is a wall of partition. It filters what is coming in and what is going out. So your network is not porous. Your network is not just accessible to anybody. And the firewall is one of the most important security tool that you can have. And that is why most of your operating system, they have firewalls on them. Most of you don't know that your devices have firewalls on them. All Most of your operating system. If you go to your Windows, if you are using Windows now, if you go to your Windows and you type firewall, you will see that your Windows operating system has firewall inbuilt. It has inbuilt firewall. So what a firewall does is that it filters. It filters what is coming in. Is this safe? And don't forget that firewall operate based on rules. Are we together? Firewall operate based on rules, meaning that it is you that will set that rule, that this is how the firewall should work. Remember that when we started, I told you that humans are still the greatest weakness in cybersecurity, meaning that you are the one setting the rule, the administrator setting the rule. You can tell the firewall to accept every traffic, and that firewall will be useless. You just be accepting everything. It's just like you telling your gateman that don't worry, open the gate, and anybody that wants to enter, just let the person enter. You set the rule. It will work by the rule because it's a tool. It answers to you. And you can set the rule again and tell it that you only want HTTPS files. That is hypertext transfer protocol secured. We will get there. We'll touch it tomorrow. When we are talking of web app security, you are going to understand the difference between HTTP and HTTPS. Because HTTP and HTTPS are both protocols that can be used on that are used on the application layer of the OSI model. Now, the OSI model is a whole big thing on on itself in network. As a matter of fact, if you are going to understand network security, the OSI model and the TCP/IP model is very, very important. But that is not part of the curriculum for this bootcamp. So on the OSI model, we have the application layer, we have 7 layers on the OSI model. So we have the application layer, and on that application layer, some of the protocols that are used there is HTTP, HTTPS, SMTP, which is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. HTTP is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So now when you are looking at these two kinds of protocols, let me use HTTP and HTTPS as example now. When you are browsing, how many of you have noticed when you are browsing, you know that when you put in your URL, you will see HTTP double column, column double slash, then you begin to type the URL. How many of you have seen that kind of thing before? Okay, great. All right. Now, if you see HTTP, if you see a website that is HTTP, are you with me now? HTTP. Then you now see colon double slash. They now write the URL. Don't forget HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Protocols are guiding principles. They are like guidelines. They are principles upon which every form of data transfer operates. But that's not where we are going. What I'm trying to show you is that you see, when you see HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It tells you that that is a web traffic. You know, I told you that every network operates on traffic. So that is a web traffic. So when you see Hypertext Transfer Protocol, it tells you that that is a web traffic, but that web traffic is not secure. It's not secured. But there is a difference when you now see HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secured. So many of you don't know the difference between when you see HTTP and HTTPS, and that is why, as a security professional, when you see any website with HTTP without the S, you don't click it. You must analyze it and be very sure that it's a safe website. You don't click it. Because that particular S, there is an infrastructure that is attached to that hypertext transfer protocol. We call it SSH. SSL. So we call it SSL. So that SSL is what makes the hypertext transfer protocol to be secured. As long as that security socket, the SSL, is not attached to it, that web traffic is not secured. Amara, please, can you mute your mic?
Oh, sorry.
Are you with me now? So the HTTP protocol and the HTTPS, they function the same way. They are doing the same thing. The only difference is that HTTPS is secure version of HTTP. Do you all understand that now? All right. So now moving forward. So I was talking about firewall before moving to that HTTP and HTTPS. So you can configure your firewall and tell it that, okay, dear firewall, I want you to only accept HTTPS traffic, meaning that anything that is not anything that is not any traffic coming from HTTP without the S, don't accept it. Your firewall will work in that way. Absolutely, that's how it will work. It only responds to the instruction you give to it. We are going to be looking at practical approach to it tomorrow. We will do practical, so you will see how HTTPS and HTTP works and how it can protect your data transfer. We'll do the practical tomorrow. So the instruction you give to your firewall is what your firewall will work with. So you can see how how a firewall works now. This is how it works. It protects. It set up a wall of filtering. It filters the kind of traffic that comes into the network. All right. So let's go back to our class. All right. So we are talking about firewalls. Let's move forward. Firewall basic. A firewall monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic based on security rules. You remember that that's what I told you. It works based on rules. It works based on rules. It works based on rules. Okay. So let's see the types of firewall. We have four major types of firewall. We have the packet filtering firewalls, we have the stateful firewalls, we have the proxy firewalls, and we have the next generation firewalls. These are the four major types of firewall that we have. So let's look at them one after the other. The packet filtering firewall, it filters traffic by checking the packet source and destination address, ports, and protocol. Now, what I am teaching you now, you will get the definition, but you may not understand it fully unless we take that networking class properly. So I will advise you, if you know you want to pursue, I'm not doing advert now, I'm only advising you. If you know you want to pursue cyber security, I will implore you to put in for that 3-month course. Immediately we are done with this bootcamp, the form will be out. Put in for that course. It's not going to be too expensive, and you have the privilege of paying 3 times, like you pay monthly. But I tell you that in that 3 months, you will know a lot. I mean, you will do that 3-month course and you will be able to take internship in cybersecurity. Of course, we will give you a few. It's part of the package that will come with it. We'll give you a few internship that you can take, um, where you can practicalize and do practical works, lab works. Now, do you understand? And so packet filtering. The reason why I dived into that is that when we are talking of packet now, packet itself is something that you need to understand, because every transfer of data that happens on a network, there is what we call data packets. Data is split into three. We have the header, we have the payload. I mean, a data in transit time. We have the header, we have the payload, and we have the footer. The header is the one that contains the IP address, the information about the sender and the receiver, while the payload is the actual data being transferred, and the footer is the one that contains the actual the thing that we use to check the integrity of that data. So when you are sending a data packet, when you are sending data is split into, if you are sending a bulk of data now, or you are sending a particular data from one device to the other, or from one network to the other, whichever one, it will be broken down into packets, into various packets. So it is when it gets to that destination, it will be arranged back. So what packet filtering firewall does is that it filters traffic by checking the packet source and the destination address, the port and the protocol, and all this one will be seen on the header of the data. All this will be seen on the header of the data. Like I told you, any data that is being transferred is split into three. Any data in transit, you will have the header. That header will contain the source IP address, the destination IP address, the port. Of course, there ports and protocols, they are deep, is another topic on its own. So the port, the source port, the destination port, then the protocol that guides that the transfer of that data. Are you with me now? So the firewall will check the packet, it will check this information and use it to filter what comes in and what goes out. So for example, if you're in a network, you have a network and you are using a packet filtering firewall, and you are sending data from device A to say for example you are sending from device A in network A, or you are sending from network A to network B, and network B is using a a packet filtering firewall. What that firewall will do is that that data that is being sent, it will check where is this data coming from, where is it going, is this the right network, is this the right place for it to go. If it is not in the right place, it will not allow you to pass. So it check the data packet, it checks for the source and the destination address. That is packet filtering firewall. Then we have stateful firewall. Stateful firewall. Now, this track the state of active connections and makes decisions based on the context of traffic. So on the OSI model, we have 7 layers. On the OSI model, let me quickly just preview that. On the OSI model, we have 7 layers. The first layer is the physical layer. The second layer is the data link layer. The third layer is the network layer. The fourth is the transport layer. The fifth is the session layer. The sixth is the presentation layer. And the seventh is the application layer. Now, these are the 7 layers of the OSI model. The OSI model is a model that helps us understand how data is being transferred. Now, let me use an illustration for you briefly. It's like you sending you are waybilling a package from let's say Lagos to Abuja. From Lagos to Abuja. We have the physical layer. The physical layer has to do with all the physical apparatus that you will use. So all this modem, uh, switch, hub, all those ones, all the router, they fall your cables, they fall under the physical layer. So when you want to transfer data from one point to the other, all the physical apparatus that are going to be involved in that transfer of data, they are they fall under the physical layer. Then the second layer is the data link layer. Now let's take for example, you are waybilling a let's say a package from Lagos to Abuja. You take it to this. I'm talking of all these standard logistic company, not the uh Yanapaja garage. Oh. Are you with me now? All right. So now when you are waybilling a package, you will take that package to the logistic company. You see the process of taking that package to the logistic company, to the right logistic company, to the right logistic company that is going to that place you are sending. So if you are sending a package to Abuja from Lagos, it is wrong for you to take that package to the bus that is going to Ibadan, or to the bus that is going to Abuja. So you take it to that office and you ensure that you tell them that this package is going to where? Is going to Abuja. You see, that process falls under, that is how data link works. Data links is what determines the connection between the source and the destination. It ensures that there is a connection. It ensures that there is a connection. That okay, this particular data is going to this particular destination. That is data link. Then we have the network. Now, the network, you know that when you get to a logistic company, a secretary will receive that package from you and label it. That is how a network of layer works. It will label it. The network layer is the one that sees to labeling and routing. It tells the driver. The network layer is the one that tells the driver, or the secretary, for example, now, is the one that tells the driver that this particular package is going to Abuja, this one is going to Port Harcourt, this one is uh, this one is going to Igboora. This one is going to which other place? Let's say this one is going to South Africa. This one is going to Ghana. This one is going to Colombia. It will tell the driver. That secretary is the one doing the work of network layer. It does the work of routing, determining where the package is going and what route it will take. Then we have the transport layer, which is the actual layer that transfer the data. That's the driver that we drive. And these ones, they have power a lot. That layer is a very strong layer. They have power. They determine the time frame. They determine the time frame that the stuff is going to arrive. The package, they determine the time frame the package is going to arrive. Are we together now? Then we have the session layer. Session layer is the one that creates session between a particular during the process of data transfer. For example, now if you are sending package from Lagos to Abuja, you will call the person that will receive it in Abuja. That is creating a session. It is the session layer that that sees to that. That is creating a session. You put a call through that, okay, Mr. Ajayi or Mr. Ian Forogi is the one that is going to receive that package from you. That is how session layer. It creates session, it manages session, and it terminates session. When sessions are not terminated, cyber attackers can exploit them. Do you understand what I just said now? I know this is a whole lot for you to swallow today, but we don't have a choice. Are we together? So this session layer will see to it that the session is created, the session is managed, and the session is terminated as at when due. If you don't terminate the session, if the session is not terminated, the session will be hijacked. It's just like you are sending your goods. You are sending package from Lagos to Abuja. Your wife is in Abuja, and you are sending your package to your wife in Abuja. Then the driver calls. Of course, no matter how secure you want, how much you want to keep your wife, as long as it is your wife that will receive that package, you will give the driver a number. You don't. No matter how insecure you are as a man, you will still give the driver the number because she's the one that will receive it. But that is not a problem, as long as the communication is still within the boundary of the session that is created, that the package should be delivered. But if the package is delivered by 6 p.m., then 9 p.m. the driver now calls your wife again. That is a session that is not terminated, and that driver is already an attacker. Is already doing something extra. So that makes that session already hijacked. Do you understand? You are going to learn more as you study further. You are going to learn more as you study further. Then we have the presentation layer that it converts the data to something readable for the destination source. I mean, for the destination device. Now it makes it readable. It converts it to something that it interprets it for the destination device. Then the presentation layer is the one that is closer to the user, you as a person, the users. So I just paraphrased the OSI model briefly now. So the stateful firewall works actually on this at the session layer and the data link layer. It tracks the state of active connection and make decision based on the context of traffic. Do you understand now? So meaning that it monitors the connections. It doesn't have business with the data itself. It monitors the connection and see the correlation between that connection and the data that is being transferred. That does it align? For example, now maybe you called somebody, you call your younger brother that is in Abuja, you are in Lagos, you call your younger brother that is in Abuja, that they are bringing a laptop. They are bringing a laptop from Lagos. Then you are receiving a call, and the driver is telling you that is